month, all month, we have been focusing our attention on this idea of living intentionally, which includes opening to possibilities, opening to the vast possibilities that are available to us, and dwelling in possibility. On the first Sunday of the month, first Sunday of the year, in our Whitestone service, we were guided to connect with our highest vision, our inner wisdom, which revealed to us a word, a quality that, remember, as we embrace that, fuels that highest possibility, feeds the growth of our highest vision. Are you beginning to feel the power of that? Yeah, that's it. And then we talked about, the power of vision, how essential it is to have vision. And we kind of explored what that vision could be for us, for this year, for, our entire life altogether. And we looked at some examples of individuals whose compelling vision inspired innovation, social action, and just kind of, in general, move the needle forward in our collective growth. Reverend Rosemary last week shared with us some of the empowering ideas from visionary Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and how we can use some of those ideas to guide us in our lives and to have the courage to take action, to make positive change in the world. And then you guys shared some of your visions here with us. You remember it was so beautiful how so many of those visions wove together into this picture, and we could see how we could hold it all together in this beautiful wholeness, holding it in our heart, right? And then I shared with you a process, a strategy for catching the vision for our lives, a compelling vision, and clarifying that vision based on Reverend Michael Beckwith's work, which is the visioning process. And I had a handout. So how's that going? Did anybody actually do that visioning process? Become clear? Either a vision emerging that took you by surprise, or maybe something that you already kind of were aware of that became clear. Anybody like to share any of what that is? That's amazing. Yeah, it definitely, a larger vision for our lives can make us uncomfortable because, we're moving forward out of our comfort zone, doing things that we normally don't do, thinking in different ways. But that's why we rely on Spirit within us that guides us in every moment, in every action. So if you would like some more support in that visioning process and kind of all over this idea of embracing a compelling vision and actually living that, getting support to live that, remember, I'm doing this workshop. It's an online class through Unity Spiritual Explorers. It's a 2-series class, very easy to do, very inexpensive, but it starts Wednesday. So you want to get signed up today. There's some information on the back table about that. Okay, so now that we are in process of allowing this larger vision for our lives to emerge, getting clarity around that, now we want to bring it into expression. We want it to manifest. We want to actually live our vision. And certainly part of that is to continue to be inspired by individuals who have made a positive impact in the world with their compelling vision. We want to keep that in mind. It's one thing to have a vision. That's the first step of getting the vision and clarifying the vision, and then we want to nurture its growth. We want to allow it to blossom. And one of the ways that we can do that, and that also helps keep that vision alive for us, It activates that vision on a daily basis so that it inspires and guides our thoughts and our actions. One of the best ways of doing that is doing a vision board. Creating a vision board. I'm a big proponent of vision boards because I know how amazing they are. I mean,
did one yesterday.
Did you? Oh, fabulous. This is a good habit to get into every year. And aren't you amazed at things that just come together like you would just never imagine?
Yes, and how things connect together on it.
How they connect together, yeah. Yeah. My favorite type of a vision board is intention mandala, which is a vision board, but it has the added element of the sacredness of a mandala. And it has at its center the heart of your vision, or an image that represents the root from which the vision springs. And then fanning out from that are images that represent how that vision looks in the various aspects of your life. You know, one of the examples in my life recently, you know, doing a vision board is about 3 years ago, I had a vision of living on a lake. Of living a lake or a river or something like living near water. Just something really healing about that for me. So I got all these images of a house on a lake or sitting out on a back deck looking at water. And 2.5 years later, against all odds, I have to say, here we are, living in a house on a lake. It's a powerful thing. The vision is just really amazing. So again, if you're signed up to do that workshop, we're going to be and you live here, you get the added benefit of coming here, and we create it together. We create our intention mandalas together, and I got lots of supplies and stuff like that. So please take one of the flyers from the back or talk to me afterwards. Okay, so another important way that we can realize that highest potential, that highest vision for our lives, to live that vision, is through a spiritual technology of affirmative prayer. Affirmative prayer. Affirmative prayer on a daily basis helps align us with our vision so that it can manifest, so that it can blossom. And I think it was maybe last September that I spoke in depth about affirmative prayer, and I had a handout that had all the steps with the affirmations. So if you weren't here for that service or you've misplaced it, I've got copies on the back table, so make sure you take one with you. Yeah. So just really briefly, affirmative prayer is quite different than other types of prayer. It has absolutely nothing in common with the beseeching type of prayer. Oh, please, God, please give this to me. Please change your mind and give me what I want. It has nothing in common with the bargaining type of prayer. Oh, please, if you just get me out of this mess, I promise I'll devote my entire life to you. You've heard that. You've been there maybe. Nothing wrong with any kind of prayer. It's just that, that's just not really effective. So, affirmative prayer, what affirmative prayer does is get us to a place where we realize that prayer has already been answered. The gift has already been made. We're living into the awareness of Jesus' instruction, pray, believing that ye have received and ye shall have. That's where it's a conscious, deliberate process for awakening to the truth of our being, and then once we're there, calling it forth into our experience. Calling it forth into our experience. So, the most challenging aspect of this, particularly for people who have grown up in traditional Christianity or any of the Abrahamic religions, really, is to let go of the idea that you're praying to a God out there. You know, it's not, God is not out there separate from us. God, divine principle, source energy is, yes, all around us, yes, and within us, expressing through and as us. So that very often is a shift that is a bit of a challenge for people. But I think it's easier to understand. It becomes easier when we release our attachment to the appearance. When we release our attachment to the appearance, what we can see with our physical eyes only. Because what I can see with my physical, right now it appears that I am separate from you, you're separate from me. It appears that my good is out, I don't have it. It's out there somewhere and I need to get it. But judge not according to appearances. So we want to release the appearance and instead open to a higher understanding. A higher understanding is that all form and experience has its origin in divine mind. So we want to enter divine mind. We want to enter the realm of the absolute. Go back to first cause or source energy, however you want to call it. And from there, really feeling the energy of that, then we can awaken to this idea that each one of us is an idea in the mind of the divine. God's idea of itself and expression, each one of us. And what is true of it is true of us. So what is true of infinite, universal, the divine one? Is that it is infinite. It is infinite, limitless, unbounded abundance. It is beauty. It is intelligence. It's wholeness. The universe must be whole, otherwise it couldn't exist. We can open to this sense that it is pure peace. We can open to the idea that it is pure love. It is wisdom, creativity. So all of these qualities that's the truth of the universal divine one, source energy. It's also true of us as expressions of it. The only reason we're not experiencing that is because we have believed otherwise. Because we have bought into this lie of separation. The big lie that we're separate from source, we're separate from each other, we're separate from our good. So what affirmative prayer does is get us back into alignment. You see, we have removed ourselves from the flow of good. So affirmative prayer gets us back into the flow, gets us back into the truth of our being, so we can feel and experience and know the truth, and from that awareness, call forth our good into our experience.